news.
Adam Schefter of ESPN has broken the news that Christian Kirk is set to be released by your Jacksonville Jaguars. Releasing Kirk will save the Jaguars over $10.4 million against the cap. Kirk will now become a free agent in an increasingly crowded wide receiver market. Of course, Kirk was set to have the highest cap number of any member of the 2025 Jacksonville Jaguars. As if by design, we already were planning at 1 o'clock to welcome on our very own Gus Logue, who is leading up our 1010XL NFL Draft Guide coverage, which will be available to all of you Heeligans, to all of our 1010XL listeners come March 31st. But first things first, Gus, since you're here, we want your reaction. As the host of Duval Rundown, of course, of Big Cat Country here at 1010XL, Christian Kirk being released is a surprise or it's not a surprise?
I think it's a little bit of a surprise, especially when you consider the human element. First of all, how's it going, guys?
Hi, Gus. Welcome to the studio. Round of applause,
Breaking
RJ.
news just in time.
Breaking news. Gus is in the house, baby.
Appreciate you guys having me on. Good to see you guys. Yeah, I definitely think it was a surprise considering the human element of it. Obviously, there's a connection with Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirk, both on the field and off the field. They've got a good relationship. And then Spencer Whipple, hired from the Cardinals, has a relationship with Liam Cohen, obviously landing on his staff, but was also with Arizona Cardinals coaching Christian Kirk at the receiver position for a few years. And so there was definitely a few different important connections within the building, but ultimately it is a business, and that's what it came down to, is the money.
What do you think? Because we're already getting a ton of text on what possibly this may mean. Does it mean they go a little more aggressive to someone, a Devontae Adams, a Chris Godwin, someone like that? Do you think this makes it a bigger focus in the draft? Obviously, you have to approach it, but we saw someone mock yesterday, Tip McMillan, to the Jags at 5. What do you think it skews this more, for free agency or for the draft?
I would say probably free agency or even a trade. I mean, Chris Godwin, I think the assumption is that he will be sticking around in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
That organization definitely seems motivated to keep him around for his entire career. But, I mean, what would rile up Tampa Bay fans more than Liam Cohen dragging Chris Godwin across the state in free agency? That would be pretty special. And then I think immediately Cooper Kupp becomes more interesting as a potential trade market or trade target, because the Jaguars do have Parker Washington as like their young guy who's former 6th-round pick out of Penn State, had a long touchdown on a punt return last year, but also has been slowly improving as a wide receiver. And he is a smaller guy, so the assumption is that he'd be like a slot receiver and potentially just like the perfect succession plan for Kirk. But I think that the slot works a little bit different here in Liam Cohen's offense with what they want to do with that.
Gus Logue joining us in studio. Gus, one point that our friend Evan Klosky, Tampa Town, WTSP, made when he joined us was that Liam went to Tampa with an idea of what sort of offense he was going to run. And obviously the Mike Evans injury, the Chris Godwin injury significantly impacted that. Part of the rise of many tight ends, not just, why am I blanking on the tight end for the Bucs right now?
K. Dotton.
K. Dotton. Not just the rise of K. Dotton, but several of those previously no-name tight ends was in large part due to the necessity to run more 12 and 13 personnel solely because of the numbers game. That's why I think a lot of people in Jacksonville look at a deep tight end class in this year's NFL draft, knowing you have, at least as of this writing, Evan Ingram and Bretton Strange both on the roster. And that's what I said to Taylor as soon as the news broke from me and I almost said it again, Adam Schefter. Like, I come away from this and I just can't rationalize, as someone who is one of the biggest Christian Kirk as a human being fans in this town, I just can't come away from it in terms of dollars and cents and justify paying someone over $23 million when in reality, if Evan Ingram is going to be taking up a sizable chunk of snaps in the slot and you can pay Parker Washington less than $2 million to take up the rest of those snaps, A, I can't justify paying Christian Kirk $23 million, even if in his own right, he has inside-outside flexibility, sort of, kind of. But B, that's why I can't justify trading for Cooper Kupp either.
Well, I think the thing that's interesting is that, like, the reason that I bring up Cooper Kupp and also Chris Godwin is how valuable they are as run blockers. And you can essentially attach them to the end of the line of scrimmage as kind of like a pseudo tight end or even 6 offensive linemen. They're that good at helping to chip and double-team defensive ends and really add that element of versatility to the offense. It's definitely something that Liam Cohen wants to bring from Kentucky and especially the LA Rams under Sean McVay.
Yeah, they do a lot of 2 tight end stuff and multiple tight end stuff too. So it does fit if you're combining the 2 minds of what James Gladstone has seen in LA and then what Liam Cohen has done in both college and in Tampa.
As I said yesterday on the show, the days, Gus, of, Zay Jones is our blocking wide receiver. Gabe Davis is our blocking wide receiver. Those days are over. Every single wide receiver better be able to block.
Hey, Mia here, and thanks so much for watching 1010XL Jaguars. For even more coverage of the Big Cats, be sure to subscribe to 1010XL Jaguars.